Streaming live, this is NewsNation Now.
And a happy finally Friday to you. Welcome into NewsNationNow.com. From 68 teams down to 16, the eyes of March are here. And yes, I said eyes on purpose because we're all focusing on March Madness, what's happening in Indianapolis. So to help us out, break down everything that is going on for those 16 teams remaining in the NCAA Tournament, let's go live now to Troy Lynch. He is covering this for us, March Madness in Indianapolis. Troy, welcome into NewsNation Now.
Hey, appreciate it, Aaron. Really happy to be here. And yeah, check out downtown Indianapolis. You got big banners. We're still waiting on the people right now, but there's lots to be excited about. Only 16 teams left.
All right, so we're into the second week of the tournament, Troy, and you were there during week one. We got to start off saying that this is a very different tournament than in years past. We haven't had quite anything like this where all the teams are in one city playing at different locations within those cities. How has coronavirus really changed this event?
I think the biggest factor that was changed in this year's tournament is the fact that there just aren't as many people as you would normally see. I mean, if you have the entire tournament in one destination, you would expect to see hundreds, if not thousands of fans from every single school piling it in. And when I was here last week, you saw every fan piling it. I think there were more fans last week than there are right now, just because there were more like teams still in the tournament. But that's a big one. And also the players and the coaches, they can't see their families. And normally that's something that they're able to do during the week. And right now they're just kind of cooped up in their little bubble. They have to plan out certain activities, but they have to make sure that they stay socially distant from everybody. So every coach and player that I've kind of talked to, they're saying it's a grind, because it's weird, because it's a blessing and a curse to win in this year's NCAA tournament, because if you win, you have to stay in the bubble. But if you lose, I guess you can go out and see people and hopefully stay safe.
It is a different world, there's no doubt about it, but now that we're down to 16, I'm sure those serious fans are coming out because they want to know that their team is going to advance. Let's talk about some key games this weekend. We've got 4 games on Saturday, 4 games on Sunday before we get to the Elite Eight on Monday and Tuesday. Right now, what game are you circling that will be maybe a convincing win for a team versus a game that could be close and we don't really know who could pull this one out? Maybe we've got another deep run from a Cinderella involved.
Well, I was just about to say that. I mean, everybody's looking at the Cinderella team, and you've never had a 15 seed make it past the Sweet 16, and that's what Oral Roberts is trying to do against Arkansas, who's a 3 seed coming into this upcoming game on Saturday. And I might be a little bit biased because I cover the Razorbacks, but that's honestly probably the matchup that everybody's like, wow, look at this, because Oral Roberts, a lot of people don't know, but they have 2 of the highest scorers in the nation on the team. That's why they were able to upset Ohio State. And then Florida this past weekend, and Arkansas has been everybody's dark horse. I mean, a lot of people have them going on to win the Elite Eight because they beat Oral Roberts, but there's some other solid games. I like UCLA, USC. I'm a Southern California guy, so that's a lot of fun to watch too.
All right, so we've got 3 number 1 seeds remaining. Who has the easier path between Michigan, Baylor, and Gonzaga?
I mean, Gonzaga, I just think Gonzaga's outright the best team in the tournament right now. Everybody else, they have some sort of weakness, and we have not seen anything from Gonzaga yet. And they've pretty much demolished every single team they've played. So until I see a sign of weakness from the Zags, it's going to be hard to stop them from reaching the NCAA Tournament championship.
The Cinderella from 3 years ago was Loyola Chicago. The Ramblers are back in it again, and they're doing it with Sister Jean, who was the darling again 3 years ago, turning into the darling now, praying to God for victories, but doing so with very specific stats to the big man upstairs. What right now is the perception of Loyola Chicago there in Indianapolis and what Sister Jean has been able to do once again?
You know, I've been able to talk to just some random basketball fans, including some Illinois fans, and they don't know any of the players on Loyola except maybe a couple that really stood out in that game. But everybody's just saying, Sister Jean beat us. Not even Loyola. It's just Sister Jean. So it's just kind of funny how that's become the theme with Loyola. And, hey, whatever they're doing, it's working.
Well, it reminds me of the Blues Brothers movies. We're on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from God.
I mean, that's exactly what it seems like for Loyola Chicago. Porter Moser, their head coach, doing fantastic things. What about Indianapolis as a city? How is it playing host to this event? Again, one with 68 teams down to 16. Fans, a few fans, family members can be there, but there's not quite that intermingling at restaurants and bars that we've seen in the past because of the pandemic.
Yeah, Indianapolis has done a fantastic job, and they did it on short notice. I mean, they were supposed to host the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, last year, but they had 2.5 months to basically cram everything in because everybody was coming just to Indianapolis. And so it was almost the perfect city to do it because you go down to Hinkle Fieldhouse, you got Bankers Life right over here, you get to use Lucas Oil Stadium. Everything's kind of so close, and you still get this tournament feel to it because it's just so tense. It doesn't even matter that the arenas are limited to 25% capacity, but Indianapolis, they're doing a good job making sure that there aren't too many people, but they're still allowing people to have fun, like shooting three-pointers or taking pictures with murals, and then all the restaurants, they're being relatively safe as well too. So it's tough because there's no great solution to have during a pandemic, but I think they're doing a pretty solid job.
I do want to talk for a moment about tragedy that hit the basketball world yesterday. The news broke. We have this story on NewsNationNow.com right now. Oscar Freyer from Grand Canyon University passed away in a car accident along with his sister and another friend. Have you heard anything, maybe somber things about this guy who was able to play in this tournament just on Saturday?
I have, and it's only been through social media, but I went to Arizona State, which is the next door neighbor of Grand Canyon University, where Oscar Freyer went for the last 5 years. And just seeing everything on social media, it's such a tragedy. It's so sad to see because everybody, especially the GCU community, not a lot of people know, but they love their men's basketball there. If you've ever seen the student section, they go absolutely ballistic. And so the fact that this happened right after their first NCAA tournament appearance in history, it's just so sad to see. And so I haven't had any experience talking to like fans or anything specific like that, just on social media from all the Arizona community that I've gotten close with and them kind of talking about it.
Tragedy, 23 years old. He was planning to walk in his graduation next month. Oscar Freyer dying in a car accident. Again, very sad stuff. As we begin to wrap up here, Troy, what is your sentiment taking away as a sports reporter, as a guy covering basketball from what this event has become? Again, we keep talking about it, and Derek actually responded on Facebook saying this will be an unusual Sweet 16. I've covered events like this. How unusual is it for you as a sports guy, as a sports reporter who's covered big events, to see one like this with capacity at such a limited ordeal?
It's very unusual because the Final Four was in Phoenix, I want to say 5 years ago, something like that. And I was there, and I got to experience all the activities and everything that they set up. And Phoenix is a huge city, just like Indianapolis, but they had free concerts with A-list musicians coming. Not Garth Brooks, but Keith Urban was there, Macklemore was there, Aerosmith. You just don't have that here in Indianapolis, and it's not this city's fault. It's just due to the circumstances. That's kind of all they can offer right now. So it's become much more of a basketball-focused tournament. And I know that sounds weird because it's all about basketball, but when you're here in the city, it's not. It's about following your team, and then when they're not playing, you go out, experience the city, and do everything fun that they have tried to set up. But they're doing the best they can, and people are still having a great time. But it is very different than years past.
All right, Troy Lynch reporting for us out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Troy, you get two choices, one being the guaranteed win, one being the upset win. Where are you going?
Guaranteed win. I mean, history repeats itself, so I'm going with no 15 seeds making it past the Sweet 16, and I have Arkansas going to the Elite Eight, but that's going to be tough. Going up against Baylor or Villanova, that's going to be a good game.
All right, your guarantee is Arkansas. Who's your upset?
Yeah, obviously my bracket's still perfect, Aaron, so.
I had no doubt about that, Troy. All right, you have to pick an upset, though. I'm not letting you go before you pick an upset in these 8 games in the Sweet 16.
UCLA over USC.
Wow. I didn't have that one at all. I like USC going a little bit deeper.
You wanted an upset. There you go, Aaron.
All right. Troy Lynch reporting for us. Troy, thank you so much for taking the time here on News Nation Now.
My pleasure, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
All right. Troy Lynch reporting out of Indianapolis, where 68 teams have been cut down to 16. The Sweet 16, as they call it in the NCAA Tournament, playing Saturday and Sunday. Then they go to 8, and they're 4 and 2, and of course, the national championship coming your way Monday, April the 5th. I am Aaron Nolan. Make sure you join us tonight for News Nation Early Editions, starting at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock Central on News Nation. If you don't know how to find News Nation, join us at newsnationnow.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a search bar. I don't want you searching for stories there. What I want you to put in is your zip code, and we will tell you how to get News Nation. Joining us each and every day. I'm Aaron Nolan. Have a fantastic day.